Welcome to Acoustic Chef podcast. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing great this morning. Hey, how are y'all?
We're good. I'm great.
Doing good. Doing good. Good. It has been a very, very busy week. It's been so busy. The last time we had a podcast, we was talking about August and Jada Pinkett Smith, and
the news just keeps on coming, man. It just keeps on coming.
There was a situation about entanglement. Are we talking about the movie Entanglement, like with the horse and Rapunzel and all of that type of stuff, or what kind of entanglement?
That's exactly the entanglement we talking about. The movie review. That was Rapunzel, right? With the Disney movie.
No, yeah, exactly.
But, listen, this red table thing that Jada does. You know, I was gonna actually try to find a red table, and I was gonna set it up to kind of look like a little setup, but I couldn't really find nothing. But no. Yeah, they had this little red table conversation. I know all y'all saw it. It was yesterday.
Yeah.
I say yesterday, which is Friday. You know, we're recording on a Saturday. But I honestly respected the conversation that they had. You know, I mean, to me, nobody has a right to be in your business. So they didn't owe nobody an explanation.
Straight up.
They didn't have to say nothing about it. So.
Right.
The fact that they came out and said something about it, I mean, just kudos to them, you know.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I feel like it probably had more to do with August than it had to do with the public, because to me it seems like they really care about that dude, and for them to come out and make the comments, you know, that they made, you know, about him needing help or whatever. I mean, I think that was pretty cool of them to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think they were very protective of him in the relationship and what happened during that time. And I believe that they saw how everyone was beating up and making the memes about him, and it just got a little out of control. But I can appreciate that they controlled their narrative. They created a platform to come on as a couple, talk about it. And I mean, that's what media has done many times. So instead of allowing other people to control that narrative and run with it, they said, hey, enough is enough. Now, whether we agree with the relationship or we believe them, that's up to each individual. But, you know, they say they were separated. And even if they weren't separated, everybody does what they do in their marriages. But, you know, but I do think, and I think in the last, you know, session, our podcast, we talked about, you know, it being a little awkward because he did need help, you know. So even though it may have been a beautiful situation, they may have fallen in some type of love or camaraderie with each other. You know, we just want to make sure that we're fair. I think I saw a post on Facebook yesterday, which had me thinking, if the roles were reversed, if it was a man that's, you know, dated the daughter's friend and she needed help, and, you know, will we all be thinking about it the same way? You know, and I had to check myself, and I'm like, hey, I am hypocritical in that aspect. I didn't really look at it, you know, the same way because it was Jada. If it was Will, would I have been as forgiving? I don't know. But I do appreciate the conversation that was had.
I did too. I'm glad they finally said something about it. I was hoping that they would say, everybody knows we've had this open relationship for years. Everybody knows that this is how we live, but they never touched on that. To me, it was very superficial. The conversation was very surface level. She did admit to having the entanglement, in which Will was like, girl, call it what it is. Like he made her say it, like it was a relationship. And another thing I noticed, like I pay attention to body language. Will, like, he seemed really hurt by the whole situation, because I mean, I don't know if it was an embarrassment for him, or, you know, because his wife stepped out, even though they were separated. He said, at that point, I didn't even know if I would ever speak to you again, you know, talking to her. And so it seemed like he was hurt. Like he even looked like, you know, he was just like, it pained him to even have to have the conversation. And then it was just really awkward toward the end where they were like, yeah, bad marriage for life. I was like, what the hell, bad marriage? Who wants a bad marriage? So, I mean, I don't know. I think they said something because they felt like they had to. I mean, he called the boy Og. It was like, you know, that's his a pet name. So, I was like, okay, they're not gonna say we have an open relationship and this is what it is. But I was glad that she did not like demonize the boy, like I said, and I was glad that she admitted to everything that happened aside from him like getting permission from Will. It was what it was for the time. She said she needed healing, and so did he. And so hurt people kind of they gravitate toward each other, and that's probably what happened. But her being with him, she probably realized like this is not where I want to be. I need to make things right with my husband, and that's what she did. So that's my take.
You know something? This is probably not a popular opinion, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they have an open relationship. Like I'm one of those people. I try to believe what people give me. I don't try to read into situations. And what I have actually read about open relationships before, and from what I read, most people in open relationships, they're not hiding it. Now we could add that they're celebrities and they don't want people to know, but most people in open relationships have a belief about that open relationship and they're not embarrassed by it. And then when I look at what they said on the red table, unless they sat and they rehearsed the whole lie, they literally was going through marital problems at that specific moment. And that's not the recipe to a relationship. Like even you just said Regina that she was hurt at the time and then August was hurt. Like that's not how open relationships normally work. That sounds like a classic marital problem where somebody, is vulnerable and they go out and they meet somebody and they end up cheating. So and then you said like Will Smith, looking at his reaction, that dude did look hurt. I ain't gonna lie. It was moments where you could see his face or facial expressions. He was trying to control them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like that's not an open relationship response. So I don't believe they have an open relationship. I believe during that moment they were really going through what they said they were going through, and she went out and did what she did. Will Smith, whether he knew about it or not, or knew certain parts about it, that may be true, but having to go through that process and talk about it like that, I don't think they're in an open relationship. I think people jump into conclusions because of that relationship that she had with August and the things that he said and the way that they were together during that time. But I don't think that couple is in an open relationship. I don't. That's just my opinion.
So when it comes out that a year later she also had a relationship with Trey Songz or something like that, and he come out crying and stuff, then what you gonna say then?
I'm gonna say Jada. And if it's only on Jada's side and Will still don't have nothing out, I'm gonna have to go with what I see and say, man, Will, you need to leave Jada, bro. She doing you dirty, dog.
Nah.
But they were separate. They said they were separated at the time. So even if Will did have somebody, I mean, maybe the women that he had relationships with just are smart enough to keep their mouth shut. So
he had them sign a non-disclosure, like we could do this, but if you tell somebody, you're going to disappear from the face of the earth. Like, that's how I feel he handles his business. Because he said, I'm going to get you back. And she was like, no, because, like, she made it seem like he'd already done whatever.
Yeah, but you can tell he loves his wife, even the way it's the admiration, how he looks at her, how he talks about her. So even if he did have relationships with anybody else while they were separated, hopefully, he loves his wife. That's who he wanted. Now she's the one he had to worry about. Is she gonna come back? And does she love me like I love her? So
But it seems like they was breaking up possibly because of that situation. Like without going all the way into it, that's what it seemed like they were alluding to. Like, you know what I'm saying? When he kept saying, I didn't think we was getting back together and stuff like that. They never said that was the specific reason why. But it kind of seemed like that could have been the reason.
Well, but didn't they say they were already separated?
Yeah, they did. And I also took that as so in other parts about Jada, and I haven't literally researched this. I just kind of been reading stuff here and there. They was talking about how she had issues within herself, like she never wanted to get married. She had family issues with her mom and her dad, and what I took from that is they were just having marital issues. And I'm not gonna put the blame on Jada, but whatever it was within their marriage before August. That's how I took that conversation when they were talking about that. I didn't even connect it to August came in the picture and then they started having marital issues.
Yeah, she's spoken on that quite a bit on the Red Table about her insecurities and the lack of love that she felt like she had from her mom and her dad growing up, and even with the relationship with Pac and all those kinds of things. So I think she's always been at war within herself, and not been as open to things from, I think she's a free person, but I also think she's had some bondage within herself.
Have y'all learned anything that y'all can incorporate into your own marriages and relationships?
Man, why you getting so damn serious?
No.
Not from this situation. I
I did
mean,
well. Oh, go
The
ahead.
communication, maybe. I mean, I like that they talk. Like that's basically it. I mean, I don't want what they have. They're not my goals, but I do like the communication aspect of it, and being willing to be vulnerable and
Yeah.
share the love that you have for each other.
I'm like, I don't have no kids now, but if I have a son, when he like 22, 23, I ain't letting him bring none of his homeboys in my house. It ain't happening. It ain't
Hey,
gonna
August
happen.
used to put up them thirst trap pictures, so Jada might have saw them pictures. I don't know if y'all know, but
lift
Google August.
everyone.
No,
Google August.
I don't. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He might have sent Jada a picture.
So, oh yeah. So Regina,
Yeah.
the last time we had a discussion. Oh, first and foremost, I love Will Smith. He's my favorite actor. That's my favorite actor. And you made a comment saying, "When's the last time he had a great movie?" Have you seen Aladdin?
I mean, Aladdin was good, but did he like? And he made that character his own. He did a great job because I
As he
loved it.
always does.
He did a great job with the genie and Aladdin,
Uh huh.
and I enjoy that. He did make it his own. He did, but he also had something to start with. Like he was able to look at the Disney the animated movie and go, okay, let me take all of this, add my own little spice, and then he already had a prototype to work with. I don't know, to me he just is not as fabulous as he used to be, and I just guess that comes with time and age or
But
whatever.
is it him or is it the movies? Because it seems like you complain about the actual movies themselves. Will is still who. All right, like you just said, he took the character and made it his own. That's the way I judge an actor or whatever. Like Denzel, I love Denzel, but Denzel's so typecast that if I meet Denzel, I expect him to be telling me about Pelican Bay and you know what I'm saying, shoe program and all that type of stuff. I expect that because every role is exactly the same way. He
It's
doesn't
not
deviate.
though.
Oh
Not
no.
for,
Boy,
no,
you did open up a
Nah,
whole nother
nah.
can of worms. I'm
it
gonna
is
have to disagree with you on
absolutely
that one,
not.
baby.
Did you
Denzel does
see him
not
in
deviate.
Fences? Did you see him in like he's not he
Did I
was
see him? Did I see him in what?
Fences with Viola Davis.
Yeah.
I'm
And
asking.
and Fences, it was just like Antoine Fisher. Was just like every other like I'm not saying Denzel he doesn't have if you gauge it on a parameter, he kind of stays right here. Like he might go a little bit above him, below the line, but not too much. He doesn't deviate much from it. Will Smith has played cartoonish roles, he's played serious roles, he's played action roles or whatnot, and every last one of them comedic roles. He's not even a comedian, but every role is believable. He's never had a role that you was like, I don't know about that one.
I I will agree with what you're saying about the variety of types that Will Smith plays
I
in
agree.
um or versus Denzel Washington, but you also have to judge each one of those characters that Will Smith plays individually, and you can't just say, "Oh well, it's the type of movie." Like you still have to judge the performance. And while I'm in the middle, but I'm in the middle because I do agree, Regina. Like there are some performances that Will Smith wasn't great in. You know, he was the. I mean, you can be great in a movie and the movie not be that good. You can be great in a movie, and there's some performances that he wasn't that great in. But um, I just think Will Smith overall because he has such a big body of work, he's a great actor.
So are you
So
talking like Suicide Squad? Because I'm not blaming Will for
nah,
Suicide
so
Squad.
Bright on Netflix, he did not perform great in that. That was not a
Was that
great
was
movie,
that a great exactly the movie wasn't great.
and he did not perform great in it either. Like it wasn't terrible, but it was when I saw the movie, I was
Say,
like, come
bro,
on, Will Smith, you
name
gotta
me
do better in this.
name me a better actor.
I
Yeah.
never said Will Smith wasn't a good actor, though. I never said that. I just said like his latest projects haven't been his best work.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
The latest projects haven't been the best movies.
I'm so
You say
pressed.
that?
You wanna know who a better actor than Will Smith?
Who was
Peter
that?
Dinklage.
Man,
The little homie from Game of
Peter
Thrones.
Dinklage ain't half. Peter Dinklage ain't half the man that Will Smith is.
Well, everybody
That's
was
right.
a
You wrong
phenomenal
for
actor
that.
in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I like Will Smith. I do. I gained an even greater respect for him as an actor when he did 6 Degrees of Separation, where he played this, this gay con man. And when I saw the movie, I was probably in high school or like in college when I saw the movie, and I was like, "Is that Will Smith?" Like I had to watch the movie a couple of times, and I was like, "Dang, this is good." Like it was really believable, like the role he played, and I was like, "Oh, okay." All right, he's doing the damn thing now. And then after that came all of these other like really great performances. I guess I was just disappointed when I saw, some of the other movies that he's done. Like I hated Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
I hated what was that movie we talked about last week? Underworld?
After
After Earth. I hated that. It was terrible and I was angry that I spent my money on it.
Did you see Focus?
What was that one about? It was where he played the doctor?
No, he was in New Orleans and he was like they were like running like these long cons and stuff like that or whatever.
I didn't see that.
I haven't seen that.
What? Y'all got to see that one. That's probably one of his best.
Well, send us a list of the best.
Of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, David, you going hard for Will Smith, man. You would think
Will
Smith running for president, you gonna be his campaign manager, like you.
Hey, hold up. Yeah, we need to do like a top 5 actors. You know what I'm saying? Top 5 actresses. We need to go there, one day or whatever. Since you're talking about going like presidential candidates or whatnot.
I already know where you're going. Listen.
Go ahead.
Let's transition.
Yeah, this is, in the news last week, your boy Yeezy, Kanye West.
Okay, yeah, Yeezus. Don't forget Yeezus.
Yeezus walks.
Yay.
Can we call him Yeezus?
This boy announced that he was running for president, and of course, at the time, people was like, "Oh, it's a publicity stunt." He got an album coming out. He literally, like the day before, just put out a video for one of his singles, which said featuring Travis Scott. And I listened to the song. I was like, "Where is Travis Scott?" I think Travis Scott had an ad lib in the song, and that was it. But he said he was running for president, and then later, a couple of days later, a Forbes article came out where he like really went in on this topic and talked about how serious he was and that he's seriously trying to run for president. So before we even get into the conversation, this is a few things that this boy said. He is running under independent party called the Birthday Party because when he wins, it's gonna be everybody's birthday. He is planning. He is planning on running the White House like Wakanda.
So Summer Walker got a new album out now, and just go ahead.
He is running for president, and he openly admitted that he never voted before, which you may not have a problem with that. It's just kind of hypocritical, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? The most important thing that he said, which is what I'm going to address, is that he is okay with siphoning the black vote from Democratic nominees that will help Trump. He says to say that the black vote is Democratic is a form of racism and white supremacy. So from his perspective, he's not siphoning votes from the Democratic Party. He's gaining votes for people who want to support him. That's how I'm taking what his comment is. And this is a problem. It is a problem because while the majority of people may feel like Kanye West is crazy, or off his rocker, he's not crazy. He knows exactly what he's doing. I don't know if he is pro-Trump still, and this is a way for him to you know support Trump because Trump's campaign is like literally falling to the wayside. But the truth of the matter is, there are probably millions of people who will vote for Kanye West
Oh yeah.
because they don't like Biden, they don't like Trump, and he's the next person. There's not nearly enough people that will allow Kanye West to win. But it is a very realistic scenario, in my opinion, where Kanye West will get enough votes that probably helps Trump be competitive, if not win. And that can be dangerous.
Oh, go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. Jump in.
He called Trump his daddy. You know what I'm saying? And he had a meeting with him that we all know about, and he did everything but jump on that man's lap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, and we know that Trump, like, is probably like the number one troll right now. It's probably like Trump, then 50 Cent, and somebody else, but definitely Trump is the number one troll right now on the internet. So if this was real, I feel like he would have already responded to Kanye's comments saying that he lost respect for him when he hid in the bunker and all of that type of stuff or whatever. Why hasn't Trump responded to it yet? To me, honestly, even if Trump does respond, I think it's all a scam. I think it's a schematic that they're using, like you say, to siphon the black vote, you know what I'm saying, and the Hispanic vote, and to try to split that vote, because Trump is suffering right now in the polls.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think 2020 could get any weirder. It's like June and then like, okay, now what's next? And then we hear this in July, and it's ridiculous. And it's crazy because personally, regardless of what you feel about the government system, the country, I can speak personally for myself. I may not have always liked who was our president, but I definitely respected the office. And it's like now we have a narcissist in there that's running a game show. And then now it's like, okay, Kanye's just throwing his hat in the ring. Like you said, Damien, I've been very disappointed with Kanye and we know that he has mental health issues. I do also think he's a genius. I think it's like a idiot savant type of situation. But when, there's so many things that plague our culture and the things that he has said, it's even more dangerous to have I believe, to have a Black person in office that preaches the same rhetoric. It's easier to see. Now, one thing I can say, I'm not a Trump fan at all, but one thing I can say that I appreciate about his presidency is that it was a time for exposure, right? So everybody that thought like Trump, felt like Trump, and pretended that they liked certain people, Mexicans, immigrants, Black people, they're feeling free to speak their truth because their leader is giving them the okay.
True.
I don't need another Trump. I don't care what color he is. And when it comes to Biden, I mean, he's not my pick either. And I know it may sound stupid to say, or take it how you want. We don't want to vote for the best or the lesser evil. But I mean, I just know Trump ain't it. I know Kanye ain't it. And I can only hope for the best with Biden. In my mind, Biden's 80 years old, so I'm just like, I don't know. We'll get in there and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully he picks a good person to be the VP. But I don't know. I think this is a game. When I was a kid, I thought I could be an astronaut. I could be a president. Who wants to be the president anymore? Like, it's a joke.
I honestly like the idea of having a president like Trump, as far as not being as much of a politician or whatever. It just needs to be a better person. He's not a good person. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if Obama ran his presidency the way Trump is running his. He's a good dude. So,
yeah, but he would have been impeached.
Yeah.
When you say like Trump, you mean somebody who's open. They kind of like, they're not all astute and professional all the time. But is that what you're talking about?
I mean, somebody who's, for one, willing to drain the swamp of the negative things or whatever, and also somebody who's like not as, like, we all know that politicians are liars. that's what we've known that politicians as, like, since we were born or whatever. They don't tell the truth about anything. Even if Trump is lying, he's telling enough truth of his own personal experience and stuff like that or whatever. You don't agree?
He's telling no truth.
No, he's a liar, most definitely. But I'm just saying he's not afraid to speak his mind about different situations and stuff like that. So I'm saying, like, just what if Obama had been like that or whatever, like without the being political and politically correct and stuff like that or whatever. Like, he a good dude. Like, any one of us could be in that office right now, I feel. And the country wouldn't be divided by races and stuff like that. It wouldn't be divided by class. Everybody wouldn't be at each other's throats because we're good people or whatever. You know.
But I don't. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ebony. Go ahead.
I don't agree, because I believe Trump is a direct reflection of having Obama in office. It scared the country and those that pretended to not be racist, those that think that they're losing their country. If you wouldn't have had 8 years of Obama, nobody like Trump would have ever been in office. And it was the fear of having a woman in office or in another minority in office. When I look at who the people that were the nominees, even for the Democratic ticket, there was not one person that I said that I thought was just, oh my God, they're so presidential. But we had a lot of great people that could have executed some great policies. They may not have focused on the Black agenda. Maybe they didn't focus on the gay agenda. Maybe they didn't have one thing, but they were, leaps ahead of what we have in office. Now, I do agree with you, Damon, in regards to, I wish that Obama could have been in office and said, I'm going to do this regardless. I'm going to do what the hell I want. This is what it is. But I don't think that he would have gotten that far. I do believe if he would have lied or contracted other countries to help him win, if he asked other countries to spy and dig into people's business, if he, instead of going to Congress to get things passed, he said, I'm just going to pass this. I don't care if it's against the law. And I can be in New York and kill somebody in Times Square and nobody's going to do a thing about it. We wouldn't have got that far. Obama's pastor. No, I get what you're saying, but I want that. I think that's the perfect world. I want what you're saying. We ain't ready for it yet. That's the thing.
So I think that Obama couldn't be like Trump. And if you're going to have somebody like Trump, it can't be a black president because they're going to get killed.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. I'm not even joking. I'm serious. Because if he's like Trump as far as his personality being, the honest person, but being a good person, that means he's going to recognize what's not right in America. And what's not right in America is what basically is going to benefit minorities for the most part. Right. And if you're preaching that message and you're doing it in a way to where you're like, I don't care what the rest of that part of the country thinks. This is what I'm going to do. That's going to be extreme change for a lot of people.
But y'all stuck on the Obama part. It don't have to be Obama. It could be It could be a white person.
I said it could be a white person. But this is what
they're not going to die.
The other thing I was about to say. The other thing I was about to say is name a president before Obama. I'm excluding Obama because we have an ideal about him as a person. But name a president that we just loved.
That's the point.
I know that's what I'm getting at. Name a president that we just loved. Like,
Gina, what you got to say about this?
I don't
like Kennedy.
I don't think any.
Kennedy.
Unfortunately, I don't think anybody who is in office is going to be liked by everyone. Everybody's going to disagree on what's the most important thing that needs to be focused on for our country. I do, like Ebony said, appreciate the fact that some things are being exposed right now. But I also appreciate that, and I wish that other presidents were able to say, this is what I'm going to do and nobody's going to stop me, and actually do it for the good, like as a good person, because Trump's moral, he doesn't have any. It's just like, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it anymore. It gets crazier by the day. And as I'm watching and paying attention, like it's anybody but Trump 2020 at this point. And so when I think about Kanye and the divide that he's trying to create, that it's disheartening that a black man would come in and pander to the other side like that. It's disheartening, but there are some things that I appreciate about this particular presidency. As terrible as it's gone, it's really been eye-opening for so many people. And so I won't be voting for Kanye. I won't be voting for Trump. Biden was not my first pick, but you have to think about, when I think about Biden, yes, he has his flaws, but so does every single man. And this man, you know, allowed another Black man to lead. And for 8 years. He sat in the background, he watched, he waited. He didn't even decide right off the jump that he was going to run for president. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't know that many white men that would sit back and allow a Black man to lead and do what he felt is necessary and support him in the way that he did and develop that type of camaraderie. And, you know, as this is our leader, this is my boss. And then, you know, just sit in the background like that. And so I appreciate that, even though it shouldn't be something that's so out of the ordinary. So I do support Biden because, I mean, who else is there? And it's not a lesser of two evils, even for me at this point, because what we got right now is pretty doggone evil. I mean, I don't even know the right answer at this.
You know how I look at Biden? I look at Biden the way I looked at all 43 presidents before Obama. Like, I think a lot of people get caught up in, we had Obama, and now they judge what they want based off of him. But before him, we had George Bush, we had Bill Clinton, we had Ronald Reagan. What's so different about them compared to Biden? Like, I would love to speak to people who can literally say to me, I voted for this person because it was the right vote because I got this out of it. Mm-hmm. I'm 40 years old. I've been able to vote for 22 years, and I cannot name one thing that has benefited me because of the president that was in place, and that's including Obama. But it wasn't Obama. It wasn't Obama that I thought was a bad president. I'm just saying that job, we put so much into who the president is, and the majority of us, unless you are super rich or super poor, you're not affected by the president.
Yeah, it's the local elections. It's exactly. Not, you'll never feel the presidency.
So I'm with you, Regina. I've never had a strong opinion about the president until this year, because it's not about Trump being a Republican and his policies. He is a bad person. He cannot be the face of this country because of who he is and how he does things and what he says. He is not just hurting the people in America. He's hurting the image of America and how people see us. Right. And another 4 years of a person like that in charge is dangerous to this country as a whole.
Right.
Yeah. So Biden, it could be Biden. It could be, you know, Kamala Harris. It could have been any of those people. It could have been the goddamn Pillsbury Doughboy. I thought Trump was the Pillsbury Doughboy.
No, he's no.
And the last thing I want to say about Kanye, and y'all can have it after this, is I just cannot take a president serious after I done seen your wife getting smashed on TV. I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't like, hey, you the president.
We didn't see Melania.
No.
We have seen Melania.
We've seen naked nude pictures and stuff like that. We haven't seen.
Did you hear what I said? Smashed.
For real?
She had a different face back then. She's different.
A different face? Wait, hold up.
And a different body too.
Different body.
If Kanye West run for presidency and win, I'm going with Ray J to go against him in 2024.
If Kanye do another video with everybody in bed with him, Melania and Donald gonna be in bed right next to him and stuff like that. I don't believe that this, like I say, this is not, Kanye is not really running for president. Anybody that votes for Kanye, I would have respected it more if he'd have ran against Trump from the beginning, because nothing is different between then and now. You know what I'm saying? As far as Trump's rhetoric and his idiocy or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and the way he runs the presidency. So now all of a sudden, oh, because you hid in a bunker, man, cut it out.
Yeah. So, and that's my issue. You're not mad about grabbing them from the pussy. You're not upset about their fine people on both sides. So you're not there for me. But I do want to touch on, I do agree that at the local level, voting is important. So especially if you live in Texas right now, the primaries are going on, so you need to vote by Tuesday. But also, we do need to think about, I was born in the 80s. You know, the Reaganomics and Reagan policies did impact my family, especially when you trickle down the crack epidemics and things like that, the way things were pushed into our communities. So yes, we're not impacted on a day-to-day basis by who's in the president's office, but the president does appoint people that makes the policies that affect us, especially like the federal prison system. So we may not have been directly impacted, but I have a lot of family members that are felons because of the minute amount of crack that they had because of the disparity in the ratios. So we also want to make sure that we don't forget that. Yeah, it may not impact us now and what money we make, but it can impact our generations. So many people homes were fatherless because of dumb policies that were put in place and targeting rappers, targeting Black people in the LAPD and in New York because of people that were appointed as the lead. So we want to make sure that we're cognizant of that.
Definitely, because they have us focus on the presidency, but the president, you know, appoints these federal judges. We can vote in different congressional leaders and senators and governors and things of that nature or whatever. So we definitely need to have our focus in a different place or whatever than totally focusing on the president. Hey, did y'all hear about Goya Foods and their president?
Canceled.
You know,
Yep.
yeah, straight up.
I didn't buy that trash anyway.
I didn't buy that stuff
I
anyway,
did.
but you know.
I had black beans.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to get some black beans and coconut milk from somebody else now.
Taco night. I'm in a rush. I open that up, cilantro, put it in there. So yeah, they're canceled. No apologies needed.
Like, why even open your mouth? Look, this is what I really don't understand. I have a friend that's like this too. He's a third generation Mexican or whatever, and it's like third generation Mexicans don't understand what they people had to go through to get over here or whatever. And I don't know, like, you don't know your history, bro. You don't know that this was once your land as well, just like the rest of us or whatever.
Like literally, Texas was their land.
You got pushed, you got kicked away. I mean, remember Pancho Villa? Remember the Alamo? You know what I'm saying? And now, you know what I'm saying, your people are trying to come back. This president has divided people and made everybody think that all the Mexicans coming over are MS-13 gang members and they're raping and killing people and all of this type of stuff or whatever. I'm like, bro, like, what has he done for you? And the Goya president talking about, I like this president because he's one that builds what? Walls?
To keep you out.
Exactly. He hasn't, what are you talking about? I don't get it. If you're rich and a billionaire and own Fortune 500 companies and all of this type of stuff, I get it. Trump has probably done some things to help you or whatever, but
absolutely
can't negate the other things that he's done. Just take your winnings and go about your business. I wouldn't even open my mouth. I know people that have benefited from Trump, millionaires and stuff like that, but they're not supporting him. You know what I'm saying? Just like, hey, it's just one, because one thing about it is you're going to have wins and losses or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because we're always going to have Republicans in office. We're always going to have Democrats in office. So either way it go, either the poor people winning or the rich folks are winning. But you don't necessarily have, it's not going to be a continuum. That's not going to happen. So why even damage your company? He's going to be out of office. Even if he wins this next term, he'll be out of office in 5 years or whatever. And then where your company going to be?
He might change that. He might make it to where he's in office forever. I don't put anything past anything anymore. Who knows?
Yeah, not past Trump. I have friends like that as well who believe that Trump is the greatest thing. One of my friends who's a cop, he was like, yeah, I don't like some of the things that Trump is doing, but I'm not voting for Biden. And, you know, maybe I'll vote for Kanye now that he's in the running, but other than that, I'm voting for Trump again. And I was like, oh, I don't think we can continue to be friends because some of the things you're saying just don't make sense. And we grew up together, same neighborhood, you know, same, you know, he was in the military and now he's a cop. And I'm just like, dude, what is your issue?
What is he doing for you? That's the question I ask, and I never get a decent
answer.
never
get an answer.
So here's now I'm going to move on to that. I have a friend he's a business owner, and he posted this yesterday. I'm going to read exactly what he posted. He says, I'm not a Trump supporter or any supporter for that matter. I just frankly don't believe in politics, but I will say this. Long as I've been alive, I've never seen any sitting president hand out this much money to Black Americans, in addition to minimum $14K per person on unemployment length, the amount of grants and loans in between SBA, EIDL, and PPP. I don't go by words, I go by actions. Make sure whoever you vote for keeps the same energy. Get out of your feelings and look at your bottom line. America is a business. And so I thought about it for a moment, and I'm like, well, it is true. That part of that is true. But the money wasn't just given to Black Americans. That money was given to everybody across the dead people got that money. So what are you talking about, first of all?
Not Obama gave stimulus packages or whatever.
Absolutely. He gave out stimulus. He also bailed out large corporations more than once.
I received $8,500 just by buying a home during his presidency. If you bought a home during Obama's presidency, you got $8,500 $7,500 one year and $8,000 the next year. So some of it, one year was a payback type situation, just like this EDIL, and the other one was not. You never have to pay it back. So it just really depends on where you were in life at that point. Like, were you buying homes? Were you getting into the business? So this is not like, oh, is Obama better or Trump better? But the money, the handouts have been there for everybody. They handed out to who they want. Me getting $1,200 when the economy is totally shut down. $1,200 when you have 3, 4, 5 kids. That's nothing. That's a Band-Aid. That's being bought. You can't buy my vote for that. Now, you want to give me my reparations, then we can discuss some things. But if the $1,200, okay, that doesn't pay. It may pay your rent, but now you need water, food, and everything else. So what is it doing? And you can't even get it. You can only get it if you are at a certain income level. So it's not helping everybody.
And I hear a lot of talk nowadays about another thing that he's done so graciously is implemented these opportunity zones and stuff like that or whatever. That's another misnomer. That's another false fact or whatnot, because the opportunity zones, for one, they've been around. For two, the opportunity zones are opportunities for rich people. They're not opportunities for poor people. So they have the opportunity zones in these poor communities, say like Fifth Ward and stuff like that or whatever, Third Ward, things of that nature. And the people in the community can't go out and get a loan for these opportunity zones and build in their own communities or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're not even guaranteed jobs. If, say, like a Coca-Cola was like, man, let's save some money by opening up a business in this opportunity zone. So basically, you're going to have these Fortune 500 companies and rich people moving into these opportunity zones, possibly deteriorating the aesthetics of the community as if they're not already messed up enough and stuff like that.
They move into the opportunity zones because it creates more revenue for them. It's not, they don't move into those zones to help the communities. Like the community
isn't guaranteed anything.
You know, exactly. They don't do anything to help the communities. The community does not prosper because these companies or these billionaires come in or millionaires come in and create these companies in those opportunity zones. Yeah. The communities don't benefit at all. And then the thing with Trump's policies that have helped people who claim that Trump has done so much for Black people, they add that part in there. Because he hasn't done these things for Black people, all right? He's done these things for people who can take advantage of it, which is the rich people, which is his people. You have Black people who have money. You have some Black people, or you have Black people who understand how to manipulate the system, or not manipulate it, but work the system for their gain.
That works.
That's just that you just have some Black people who know that, so. Of course, it's going to benefit them in general. But like Regina, your friend, I think in this climate we're in right now, even if you can speak to how you benefited for some of his policies, you need to recognize that what he's done is not helping our country as a whole. If I was rich right now, I would be perfectly willing to take a step backwards with how much money I'm making based on those policies to get somebody in office who's going to look at things totally different as it relates to our country.
Because you're a good person.
I mean, that's to me, that's what a president is supposed to be doing. It's not supposed to be all about the economy, because people live in the economy as well. Like we gonna get to some other stuff about it. I'm not gonna go too much deep into it.
We've always heard don't take candy from strangers. All Trump doing is giving us some candy to try to kidnappers. That's it.
I mean, I'll take the candy, but he won't have my vote. Yes, give me the $1,200. Give me the additional $500 for my 2 boys and whatever. I'll take it, but you're still not getting my vote because I can't be bought. And also, you're not a good person. People are missing the fact that he's just not a good individual. Yeah. Like his person, they're missing all of that. It's he gave us money, so now I owe him something.
It goes to show you that this the morality of people or whatever.
And this is my last thought about it. Unless y'all open up some more, is that the same people that are praising all of this money that's being dispensed are the same people that are always complaining about handouts and people that are on welfare and all of this stuff. So now it's okay because you're benefiting. But if a family needs some food or they need unemployment, because of some type of disaster, and I know some people manipulate the system, but people want to get rid of, they don't want free healthcare, and they don't want free healthcare for all, only for them. They don't want food stamps for all that need it. But now you're like, where's our 1,200? Where's our 500? Where's my company's tax breaks? Where's my opportunity zoning, and all those kinds of things. So it's like, otherwise, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But until it's me, he's the best president. No one has ever given out this much money.
Show me a supporter and I show you a hypocrite. Anyway, what we look like on time?
I mean, we good. Yeah, we good.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna let you handle time then.
All right, I got time. Speaking of time, well, not speaking of time, but 50 Cent made some comments that were controversial the other day, and I don't know if you heard the comments, Damon. I know me talking D Will. My bad, y'all. I gotta start calling this boy D Will because he be getting on me. His name is D Will, and I call him Damien because that's his real name.
That's not the problem.
Government name.
That's not the problem.
But so I gotta remember to call him D Will.
That's cool. When you spell my name, like in the topics and stuff, you be spelling it all wrong and all kind of stuff or whatever.
You said D.
Hey, no, I didn't. I never said that. Anyway, hold up.
Anyway, 50 Cent made some very controversial comments. He was on Lil Wayne radio show, and his comments were I have a comment, and it's not that long, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it because it's not that long.
Hold on, let's set it up. So what's up, Fifth? What do
I don't do a good 50 Cent.
My stomach hurt.
That was good, Lil Wayne. So he said he was talking about exotic women or foreign women, and where I have it at, he said he then proceeded to share why he prefers a certain woman. He said that shit looks a lot different from shit you see in the neighborhood all the time. That shit look like it come off a boat, something you can't just get. But they, speaking of black women, get angry. How did you end up with this mother? I'm like, huh? My instincts always make me decisive, so I look at it like, look at this angry black mother. Get the F out of here trying to F up the whole vibe. That was 50 Cent's comments towards black women, and he's been catching a lot of flack in the media. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Does he have a new project coming out? Like, is it a spinoff of Power? Another one of the 12 spinoffs I heard were coming out. Like, he makes these inflammatory remarks, and I'm not going to, maybe that's really how he probably does feel that way. I think when you reach a certain tax bracket, as certain black men reach this tax bracket, they feel like they can say and do whatever they want, say anything about black women they want to say, regardless of their own family, their own mothers, daughters, whatever. 50 Cent is just that. He's a troll, first of all. He does it all the time. He doesn't care who he does it to. Even his own cast of the show of Power, when he was, when that show was still on, he was like trolling his own cast members. And I'm just like, I'm so over 50 Cent. I don't care what he has to say about black women. Go ahead and buy you a woman from overseas if that's what you like. Because at this point, none of us want anything to do with you anyway. So, like, I don't feel any sort of way about it. I don't care. I know the Black men who appreciate me, and I know that here's the thing about Black women, and I told my own boys this too. Nobody's gonna ride for you like a Black woman. She's gonna take care of you. She's gonna make sure you're good. She's gonna, if something happens, she's gonna visit you in the hospital, in jail, wherever you are. She's your ride or die. Now, you can go out here and get you somebody else if you want to. You can play that game. You can roll the dice and hope you get somebody who's as down for you as a black woman, but chances are you're not gonna find one. So both of my boys, I have an 8-year-old and a 17-year-old, and the 17-year-old is like, he's not racist or anything, but he's like, I want to find me a good Black woman. I'm going to find me somebody like my mom who's down. And I said, that's the way to be. I'm going to love whoever you bring home, but just remember, a Black woman is going to take care of you. So if there's ever a moment where 50 Cent has lost his fortune, lost his notoriety, lost everything, that exotic woman that he's talking about and how he's putting down his sisters, she probably won't be there for him, like somebody who looks like me. So I'm just saying, just putting that out there, but I don't care about 50 Cent. He's problematic at best.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gina. I think James Baldwin said once, even I could be wrong the way he said it, but it's to be a Negro or Black in America is to be angry. And I think that, the narrative of Black women, it really sucks. It's like we're always constantly having to prove ourselves. We're being discredited. Mm-hmm. Soon as one runs for office, oh my gosh, what did she do? What did her office do? How did she vote? When we rise into leadership positions in corporations, it is a constant struggle. It is a double minority thing. So and it's not to take away from Black men, because Black men have their own set of struggles. So it's always disheartening when we hear Black men still continue the narrative about preference and how other women are so much kinder, nicer, and better. And I think that, and for myself, and within our culture, we still struggle with colorism. But then to have us at the front line, because we are at the front line, we're making sure if a war goes down, Black women are going to be on the front line trying to protect our Black men. We're trying to protect our Black boys and girls in the school system and further, than that. So the narrative of what's better because we're angry, I have seen people that are angry, and it's not just Black women. Some women are bitter sometimes, but it's because it has nothing to do with their skin color. Some are rougher because of the systematic, things that they have to deal with because maybe they came from certain neighborhoods or upbringing. I know men that are the same way. But it's very discouraging. Just say you like your baby mama. I think his or whoever his girlfriend is. I don't know, is she a white woman, a white model or something? Just say, oh, I fell in love with her. Like who you like without bringing me into the conversation. Mm-hmm. I'm angry because my Black boys are being killed. I'm angry because sometimes y'all don't see how much we love y'all and value y'all. Yeah, I'm angry, but I'm not angry because, you're living your life. Like, I think they want sometimes, and not all Black men want something a little different. They want us to be this docile creature when we have so much power. Some of us, at least, have so much power inside of us. And what you may mistake from, with anger is passion. I've been called an angry Black woman many times. And it's because I'm talking to people like I'm talking to you right now, even at my job. I've heard even a white woman one time, and I work in a male dominated field. So even when I see a white woman, get hired on, I'm like, oh, good, another woman. But then it's almost like she becomes my enemy, because I remember this one woman saying, talking to me about something that was going on at work, and I gave her the answer, and she's like, oh, it's okay, calm down. And I'm looking like, now I'm angry, I'm not, I'm just doing what you do. But when you say it and when you talk in these boardrooms, people say, oh, she's assertive. But when I say what you're saying, I'm angry. So all it does, what happens when you tell a woman to calm down? Have y'all ever told your women to calm down? When you say
Yes.
that, what happens?
You don't get a
So
positive reaction.
no, that's what makes us angry, you know. So I think that if we paid attention to the opposite sex, especially within our own, and started to notice what are the triggers, you know, and started to get to know how we show love. Everybody's love language is different. I think you would be a little bit more cognizant on how you verbally attack us. So
I
So,
think. Oh,
I,
go ahead.
nah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So to address the anger situation or misnomer or whatever, or saying black girls have an attitude and stuff like that. I mean, black people in general have a right to have an attitude at least for another 300 years, if I'm not mistaken or whatever. But if you if you grow up, I mean, we're all I don't care where you from, where you at on this planet. We're all a product of our environment or whatnot. Most of us grow up in hostile environments, so you have to grow leather skin. You got to be tough skinned. You know what I'm saying? And especially like in in our community where a lot of us don't have fathers in the homes with us and stuff like that or whatever. So you have to be that much tougher, you know what I'm saying, dealing with your situation and your environment or whatever, because your mom was probably tough, and so now she trained you to be tough or whatever. I mean, going back to I'm pretty sure we all read the Willie Lynch notes and stuff like that or whatever, and I don't know, that kind of holds true to me as far as our women, kind of babying and pacifying our boys and then treating your daughter to be that much tougher because this is a cruel world or whatnot. You know what I mean? So, but just to speak specifically to what 50 was saying, all of the stuff that came afterward that he was saying beyond that first sentence to me is just banter. Just he's just filling in space or whatever. But to want and like something exotic, certain people have that type of taste or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he was talking about white versus black or whatever. Honestly, I think if I mean, an African woman from Africa could be exotic to him, because when I see 50, a lot of times he's with, he be with a lot of black women or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they might be from the islands, or they might, like I say, from other parts of the world and stuff. So I don't think, and I'm not defending him, because I think, like I say, I think he a number one troll or whatever. But he, as far as exoticism goes, what y'all don't realize is y'all are exotic as well to
oh, I
somebody.
realize it. I'm exotic. I know that.
Yeah, but y'all exotic to somebody else as well. I'm sure when white dudes see y'all, because if you're not used to something, then but you have exotic taste, when you see something else, that becomes exotic to you or whatever. Like, like Serena Williams, as fine as she is, you know what I'm saying? A white dude thought she was exotic, even though we grew up thinking that, white dudes probably didn't like, thick women like that and stuff like that or whatever. He saw her and was like, man, she bad or whatever, and he wanted to be with her, so he pursued her, whatnot. So any man from any different space can look at somebody, women too or whatever. Y'all, like, ever since I was born, y'all like certain dudes on TV and stuff like that because of the allure of who that person is, whatever. That's a form of exotic interest or whatever. But you see guys every day that probably look just like these dudes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But because of the space that they're in, you look at it in a different manner.
So, my take on this, just in case y'all didn't know, 50 Cent is an asshole. He always been an asshole. And this just adds to the resume of his assholeness. When I first heard the first part I heard was just like a snippet. So I heard the exotic part. I didn't hear everything. And then when I heard that his statements were controversial, I was like, this don't sound like it's that big of a deal. But I didn't hear everything, because I even said that to D. Will when we was talking. I was like, I don't think this that big of a deal. Then I went back and I listened to everything, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what the problem is. And the problem that I have with his statements, everything you said about exotic, Damien, for the most part, I'm on board with that. I do have a few differences in my opinion. But the part that's a problem is 50, along with other, and specifically, it seems to be a problem with black celebrities, or men celebrities, or men that have money, like athletes, that end up with a white woman or a exotic woman. Exotic, I'm doing air quotes when I say exotic. They have a woman other than a black woman. they tend to feel the need to say why they have that woman, and it tends to have something to do with why they don't like black women, or black women is this, or black women is that. And that's what I have a problem with, because you cannot villainize a whole like race of women because because of what you want. Like, if that's what you want, then just say what you want. You don't want to. It's not gonna look good if you say, "Oh, I like white women." That's not gonna look good. So instead of you putting the emphasis on yourself because you chose that woman or you chose that exotic woman, you put it on why you don't like the other woman, particularly black, because the only people that end up having these conversations are black men. White men don't have to explain why they want to be with a black woman, because that white man is going to paint that black woman in a very wonderful light. He's going to say, instead of him saying, "Oh, I don't like white women because they act this way," he's going to say, "Oh no, I like her because she's this way to me." Like, that's what a white man is going to say about a black woman that he's with. But our black men, they tend to feel the need to downgrade black women to defend why they're with the other person. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what 50 did. And that's the problem that I think people have with black women, and I myself have with his comments. Because everything before that, if you like an exotic woman and you do notice that some people are looking at you funny about it, that's their business. You don't like it. And if they do get angry about it and they just happen to be black women, that's those black women. There's no need for you, who have a voice, who have a platform, who knows that millions of people are going to be listening to you, to come out and make a comment as if this is the black woman as a whole. And this is how they all act. Because when you come out and say that, now you got people having conversations about black women. And I guarantee you, if you go find some threads, you're going to find plenty of black men that concur with him, that agree with him.
America has made us insecure in that light, in that respect, as far as like what you're saying or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're a black dude, especially a strong black dude, and you with a white girl or whatever, you're going to automatically have some type of constraints. You know what I'm saying? So he felt the need to have to say something, you know, to explain himself or whatever, and he felt insecure about it. And I think that's how they do mostly.
I feel like that has some truth to it. In this situation, I don't think it has any truth to it. Not with 50 Cent.
Just because of who he is.
Exactly. Not with him. In some situations that may have truth to it, I still feel like the onus is on you as a black man to recognize what you're doing.
Too much credit, bro.
Huh?
You're giving him too much credit, bro.
Nah, 50 is a smart dude, man. He know what the hell he's doing. That question, whatever he was addressing, had nothing to do with black women. It had nothing to do with black women. Like I don't think anybody. He didn't say white women. He said exotic. Like, in my mind, when he said exotic, I thought he was talking about like island women or something like that. You know, women from Brazil or women from the Caribbean islands or something. That's what my mind went. Everybody has their own definition of what they think of exotic. But I was thinking he was talking about like an island woman or something.
You know
what he was. Go ahead.
No, my mind doesn't go there, and maybe I'm not seeing it the full picture. Usually, when I hear a black man talking about exotic women, they're not talking about, like Damon, you mentioned, she could be from the Caribbeans. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, Jamaican women are crazy," or "Oh, those black Dominicans." Black, regardless of wherever, the only person I've ever, like Ludacris, his wife is an African woman, but whenever someone says exotic, they're talking about Brazilian. They're not talking about black Brazilians. They're not talking about someone that's of African descent that lives in Italy and has a French accent or something. They're talking about someone that does not look like me. And that's exotic to me. It's almost like it's the code word to not say I like everything but you. It's like, oh no, I just like exotic because they're just a little different. We ain't that much different. Our accent is.
But see, the only reason why I don't agree is because if you look at the women at 50 Days, the women that he's seen with, they're all black.
No, that ain't true. Have you seen? And then even with his baby mom, the child that he loves so much. No, that is not true. He may have an entourage, just like when the whole thing with Chris Brown was going on, and the girl came out and he said something about he don't like dark women. I don't know if Chris said that or not, but yeah. So I mean, he made sure. She said, "Oh, he always had lighter skinned women or women that were not Black around. And then all of a sudden, when this controversy comes out, we start seeing him film, oh, here's a Black girl, a dark Black girl at that, so, yeah, he might have some people that work with him. He might have some homies, but who do you give your love and affection to? Who is this preference based on exoticism? I have not seen that, so maybe I need to Google, but I've only seen other people.
I was
outside
wrong.
of-
Hold up, I was wrong for saying all. But 50 be with a lot of Black chicks or whatever though.
Well, he might like them. He might be with some that don't even like women. He may have friends and homies, but I'm saying who is he sharing his affection with? Yeah, his older son, has a Black baby mom. He can't stand her, So I mean, it's almost like Future, is that who it is? Yeah. So I think it's that the latest woman that says she is the mother of one of his children and he denied it, look at a picture of her and look at everybody else. And now this is just, and I'm not saying he said anything about colorism or he has done anything like that, but I'm saying when you open up these type of conversations, just imagine, and Damien, you have daughters, imagine what verbally and nonverbal that some of these things that these men that are in high positions, especially in the music that our kids listen to, what signal and message does this give off?
Well, I have to reinforce conversations, what I'm saying, that I have with my daughters because they deal with this as well. I have, of course, one is out of school, but the other one is in high school. And some of the boys in school say, stupid stuff like this or whatever, as far as like dark-skinned women and things of that nature. So I think it's a good conversation that we possibly need to have or whatever, because this is becoming a topical conversation that people are actually having. And we need to reinforce love, within our community. And, it's not even just with Black folks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like dark-skinned people wherever, regardless of what nationality you in, it seems like we have an issue. You know what I'm saying? There's always an issue of dark and light.
So I will say this, and then we need to move on because we're getting kind of close to time. I would say this about exotic, and I'm only speaking from my perspective because I've never had a conversation with somebody about that viewpoint. I've had the conversation about colorism, and I understand how that is seen, even like in Brazil, like Brazilians bleach their skin. That's a common practice in Brazil. They bleach their skin if they're darker to become lighter. So I agree with that. But as far as exotic, my perspective on exotic is not even skin tone. It is more about what's different than what your norm is. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's what other men mean when they say exotic, but it could be a Black woman from London who has an accent. To me, that's different. And the fact that she has that accent, and a lot of people look at a European accent as being like sexy to a certain extent. I've heard a lot of people talk about men from Spain because they're suave and debonair and how they do things and the way they talk. Like, that's exotic. It's not. You said Pancho Villa, so don't.
Pancho
you said
Villa.
Pancho Villa. It is Villa. Anyway,
go on, Capel. I think that's the right definition. Yeah. I actually agree with you.
So that's what I think when I think exotic. So when I'm explaining, I guess when I explain it, I'm actually thinking that in my mind. Now, if what your definition, not definition, but what if you explain, what you explain about the perception out there in the world as exotic, that may be true, but I don't know that because I haven't really even thought about it or looked into it. If that is the truth, then it is definitely something that, it's pretty messed up. But I guess my definition of exotic, I never really would go there in my mind. So that's why when I was talking about 50, I was like, I can understand what he's saying about exotic, something different. But if he literally was meaning like not Black, then that's completely wrong. I mean, I even more don't subscribe to what he said. But of course,
I don't think I'm going to say this and I'll be done with it. I don't think he meant not Black. I think he meant not American Black woman. I think that's what he meant. Like anything other than an American Black woman.
That's what I think.
And that's fine if that's his preference, but then he needs to frame it that way instead of making it seem like, oh, I'm with these women because American Black women got attitudes or they angry or bitter or whatever. Whatever. He, like I said, he's a non-factor. So I have a hard time taking him seriously. And
we got like 3 minutes left. 50 versus T.I. battle. Who you got?
Come on, T.I. No, bro, we can't. All right, because I wanted to talk long on this, but T.I., I'm sorry, bro. 50 is not even. He ain't nowhere near T.I. level. T.I. got if T.I. and 50 battle, all T.I. got to pull up is trap music, possibly Urban Legend. He could play that whole album, whatever. 50. Welcome. I'll take you to the candy shop. How that's gonna hold up against 20 Coles and the Rubber Band, man? It's not. You know, he got
I'm
a
with
bunch
T.I.
of those.
I got T.I.
too. I can't believe this is even a conversation. I know why it's happening, because T.I. actually called him out, so that's why it's happening. But yeah, this is not even a battle. T.I. is going to destroy 50. It's not even close.
T.I.'s teaching a trap class, like the business of trap music, at one of the universities in Atlanta. Like this next fall session, he's like teaching a class.
Look, 50 even knew that T.I. was better than him, because he didn't respond with music. He responded with that foolishness that I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what he do. That's what he do. He an asshole.
Yeah.
What you think, Ebony?
I think T.I. got it. I just T.I.'s catalog and lyricism is way more advanced. I mean, 50 has some gems. I enjoyed that era, G Unit and all that, but his catalog can't touch T.I.'s. But I think he should have went for the battle with Ja Rule. And honestly, I just felt like that would have been a great. The ratings would have went out the roof just because of the beef. But I think Ja Rule got hits, huh?
Oh, 50 and Ja Rule?
Yeah, well, 50. Yeah, I wish that they would have done that. It was
that would have been.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he said. Yeah, I think they were like, nah, but it was out on the social media world when Versus first came out for a while, and they didn't agree to it. But I think that would have been dope, because I also feel like it would have opened the eyes to a lot of people that kind of discredited Ja Rule back in the day, because people felt like they had to choose, and a lot of people chose 50. But 50 can't go toe to toe with T.I. When it comes to that. Now, should T.I. be a professor? We'll see how that goes. I want to know what vocabulary words he uses in the class.
He has those big $50 words, some SAT words. Sometimes he don't even use them right. Do y'all listen to his podcast? Oh my gosh,
it's hilarious. Well, I haven't listened. I've only seen one.
I listened to it expeditiously.
That's
one of his favorite words. Yeah, that's all we got for today, man. I mean, this was a good show. So this is Acoustic Chef, and we out.
Peace.
Yeah.